Hey there! On Aberfeldy Street, everybody's got a different story to tell. Aberfeldy Portraits gathers the stories of people who live in Poplar or cross paths with our community, showing what people are most proud of and care about, and uncovering the colourful, rich differences that make Aberfeldy a vibrant place to be. Join us weekly as we share these stories, and maybe you'll discover something new. Today we're back with Fulya to talk to her more about living a sustainable and ethical lifestyle.
So, first of all, when we think about veganism, it's obviously skipping all of the animal food or animal products and then sticking to a more plant-based lifestyle. So that's why the first thing that comes up to my mind is animal welfare, because animals are actually not like plants. Animals have emotions, animals have thoughts, animals have reactions. Well, plants also have reactions, like towards sun and water and such, but it's not like that complex. So we are sometimes thinking that an animal is less complex or very primitive when compared to us, to humans. But they also have real emotions, they have a sense of feeling, they have a sense of attachment to people and quite complex thoughts and emotions as well. Their first instinct is their survival, but they can definitely enhance that feeling when they have that proper safety and peace in their mood. So the first thing that comes up to my mind is animal welfare and being aware of these facts and making choices, making better choices to improve that welfare.
I think for some people they may not understand the impact of like farming or like how are animals being taken care of, and what are some of the things that you learned that made you aware of their welfare, like not being thought about?
Yeah, the first thing, the most important part I learned about animal emotions was my dog. So she was a stray and I adopted her nearly 2.5 years ago, and she was completely scared of everything and trying to hide under some stuff, under tables, under chairs and everything. She has hardly making eye contact with anyone or with people. And after I adopted her and made that safe environment for her, she started to act freely. So, and she also connected me more than anything. So that was also a huge improvement for her. I mean, at the beginning she was scared of me, and then she started to attach and so showed the emotions. And after seeing this, I wanted to learn more about this animal farming and the animals that we use for our diet purposes or clothing purposes for ourselves. And then I realized, actually, let's talk about milk. So a cow is giving milk to its babies, the baby cows, just to feed them. But at the moment, when we think about milk in our lives, I mean, especially use of cheese, yogurt, and drinking milk itself, we are actually using that baby cow's food for ourselves. Then when I thought about that, and in the biology of a cow, it's a must to produce milk to feed their babies. But now we are pushing them to produce milk, and we are actually changing their biology, their psychology, their hormones to produce milk continuously. And then I thought something is wrong here, so we are definitely working against their biology, against their creation. And eggs are the same as well. So eggs are sometimes being marketed as happy eggs or eggs from happy chicken and such. But that's not actually the case. It's just a kind of marketing thing. So because an egg, a chicken is giving that egg just to produce. It's a way to survive in nature, to have babies again. But again, we are just keeping them in tiny boxes to produce eggs continuously, and we are giving lots of hormones and pushing them produce more and more eggs for humans. When I thought about these, I found that from an animal welfare perspective, and when I think about all of the emotions and the hormonal and biology of those animals, it's seriously not necessary to get in this cycle and promote them and eat or use one of those animal products.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting what you said about marketing, promoting something as being very happy. I think at the moment there's a lot of marketing that makes products seem very simple, very natural, and then people might assume this makeup range is really good for me and good for the planet, or it's good for animals, or the same with food and the same with other things that we use in our day-to-day life. When did you first start realising that it wasn't just milk or eggs or animal food products that had on animal welfare?
So I read a book about being vegan and how to actually think about that animal welfare, that animal part of it, the animal emotions of it. So, and then there were lots of examples in that one. So some farms are promoting, so we are feeding our animals with the best grass or with the best water and in the most beautiful place of England, let's say. But actually, they are doing it just to make the meat a bit more delicious. It's again for us. It's not just for the animal. So because when the animal eats a really natural food and really natural diet, so the meat is becoming more fatty and it's becoming more delicious. That's how they do that. So it's actually not for the animal itself. It's for humans again. So, and then I thought we are actually using these animals as a kind of slaves and just for human benefit. That's how I decided, okay, so this mindset is quite parallel with what I thought when I adopted my dog and how I saw her improvements when after she connected with me. And then I said, yeah, that's it. So I'm done with animal products now.
And could you tell me about parts of your lifestyle and now that you're trying to keep vegan?
For food, I'm definitely choosing plant-based food. And also for clothes, I am definitely avoiding animal products like leather, wool, and silk as well. These are also very expensive stuff. I mean, I don't know how they actually make it. So they're using animals, they're promoting this looking like very high quality material and such, actually in an expensive way. And then the industry is also making a lot of money by promoting these. On the other hand, we also have really nice new technology materials, completely human-made, and they're also providing the same comfort that those animal products, that those natural animal products give us. So I'm definitely making my choices in that direction. And cosmetic industry is using lots of animal products. And in those ones as well, I'm originally looking at the ingredients and looking for some vegan badges, vegan certificate badges. So yeah, that's how I make my choices consciously now.
Yeah, it's a lot when you start to realise how many things are affected. Like what you said about silkworms, coming from silkworms, and that's a really intense process for a silkworm to go through, and it's actually quite, when I heard that I was like, this is quite sad. What would you say has been challenging about changing some of those things, like have you found any challenges with switching to different products that are vegan?
Yes, so I found out that some of the things that I thought vegan was not actually vegan. So even in food as well. So I won't mention the brand here now, but I was thinking a brand was really related with plant-based and vegan food, and I'm going to the shelves to pick up those choices, and then I realized they were actually not vegan. Some of their products are vegetarian, and they are not publishing or putting that vegetarian label visible enough, so they are putting it somewhere on the back end. on the back side of the package and putting the vegan labels on the up front. So that's again still a kind of marketing. So they actually not selling fully vegan products. So I was a bit disappointed in that one, and now I'm trying to choose. And in terms of packaged vegan food, I'm trying to go to fully vegan, 100% vegan producers. So that was an interesting fact. And after I learned this, I also talked about this everywhere, wherever I find the opportunity. So that brand is not really 100% vegan. Just check what you're buying. And the ingredients and the ingredients lists as well. Some products are actually vegan when you check the ingredients, but they are not adding that vegan label. I think that vegan label certificate is also adding some costs on them, because taking that certificate is also a kind of cost, a kind of money. And I think if something needs to be fully vegan, it needs to be produced in a fully vegan facility. So if they are, let's say, producing some cheesy chips, it's completely salt and onion chips, that product is not counted as completely vegan. But when you check the list, it's actually vegan. So, and that's also something, it broadened up my thinking. Now I'm checking not only the vegan labels, but I'm also checking the ingredients, because as long as it doesn't use any animal product, I'm okay with it. So I'm still promoting to buy them. So that was also something that I learned. And these are all the things that I learned in this transition period. So it's been now nearly 1.5 years. And I will probably learn more of this stuff, but these are the first things that got my attention.
Are there any products that you were surprised to find out were actually vegan, but don't have that certification, don't have that label?
Yeah, it's especially in the snacks. There are lots of vegan options. So if you check the labels in the ingredients, I mean, they are highlighting the allergens with bold, but not the vegan stuff. But when you scroll through those, so you can definitely find lots of vegan products. And even if I can't find the vegan labels, I'm looking for those in the ingredients, or I'm checking the ingredient lists to find the real vegan ones.
Okay, that's really cool. In my personal experience, there's been a lot of times when I've had to learn the Latin name for an ingredient, or like the scientific name, because often they won't say beeswax on something, they might say very convoluted technical name for it.
Yeah.
And then, so I can't use beeswax on my lips. And I always I get a reaction. So I'm like, okay, what am I looking for? What's the 3 different names they could call it?
Yeah, that's also right, especially in the cosmetics industry and skincare. Yes, they are probably doing it. I'm not really aware of them yet. I couldn't come up that far. But yeah, then next chapter will be on that one.
Amazing. Yes, I've also heard as well that there's a lot of new technology around, like using mushrooms or even seaweed to create like fake leather, vegan leather, which is really exciting. And I think there's incredible technology being developed to create more products. What would you wish someone to create? What do you think is missing from the vegan market?
Well, I think clothing generally. Well, for food, yes, we have lots of veggies and fruits and lots of options. But for outfits, I personally like the soft and natural textures, like woven materials and kind of polyester braided stuff and such from plants and anything. So maybe that can be something interesting, to find some woven materials, completely plant-based, and looking really natural with lots of texture and such. So that's probably something I can look for. Yeah.
Okay. I also think it's really really important, like, you know, when you make a big lifestyle change, often having support or other people around you or people to talk to, whether it's in real life or online, to help make that transition a bit smoother can be really valuable. How have you found that side of like understanding veganism and making changes? Have you found places and people to kind of support you on that decision and that journey?
I actually gave this decision on my own. So, because when I read all of these, well, I was feeling, before completely switching to vegan, I was feeling that day will come. So, I will feel completely ready for, for that moment, and I will switch to a vegan diet or vegan lifestyle when the time comes, when I feel like that. And it probably took some 6 months to consider that period. And after I read the book, I did, and that book was quite convincing. And the book about being vegan and changing to veganism, I read, and it really made my mind very well. And I completely switched my mindset to the vegan eating and plant-based food, because it was also talking about the health benefits. Lots of people think there will be a deficiency when you switch to a plant-based food, but that's definitely not the case. And lots of people again think that you will feel very weak when you don't eat animal products, but there are lots of high performance champions in lots of sports like tennis, basketball, football, and other fields. And after reading all of that benefits and the positive sides of it, I completely changed to the vegan eating, the plant-based eating, and then I learned about the whole lifestyle itself. It's actually completely a change of lifestyle.
Have you met many people in the past year and a half who are vegan? Like, is that something that comes up in conversation?
No, actually. I met lots of vegetarian people who are not eating meat, but vegans are a little bit hard to find, or at least around me. There are very few. But people are just, not at least judging me about my choices. When we go to a lunch with my colleagues, we are all thinking about vegan options too. It's also actually easy to be a vegan in London specifically. There are lots of options in terms of restaurants and the choices at groceries and such. So it's quite easy to make that switch when you really make your mindset.
Were you interested in like sustainability before you adopted your dog?
Yeah, but I always tried to make some sustainable and environmentally positive choices. I was doing my recyclings, still doing them. So yeah, that kind of small stuff maybe. But now I'm also feeling I have more impact on the environment as well, because I'm leaving less carbon footprint behind me. So, yeah.
Something that I was really surprised to see when I read a book about sustainability recently was how huge the difference is between plant-based products and between meat and dairy, for example. And it was there was like night and day contrast between the impact of switching like diet and making different dietary choices. Do you feel now like you could ever go back to having a non-vegan lifestyle? Do you feel like this is the only way for you?
Well, if I have to, it means, if I fell on an island just on my own and cannot find anything to eat, just for the purpose of survival, yes, I can switch to an animal diet. But other than that, it's really difficult for me. As long as I have choices, I would never go back to the traditional diets anymore.
Do you feel like you've been able to influence any friends or family members on like how they make choices around lifestyle? And
when they ask me, yes, I am talking to my experiences. They are generally feeling a bit bad for me because they are thinking I'm not really enjoying anything at all anymore. But that's not the case. So I'm quite, well, eating was seriously one of my biggest hobbies, I can say. But now the purpose is different. I was going out with friends, and the focus was choosing the place first and then meeting with friends. But at the moment, my focus is more on friends and then eating something, just having a conversation, on drinking something, just having a conversation. I mean, the food just disappeared a little bit from my focus. Well, in terms of eating that animal food, so I'm not eating for fun, eating for pleasure anymore. I'm eating for a purpose at the moment. And when they ask me, I'm talking to this, but I didn't take a duty as, okay, I will change 2 people this year to a vegan diet or to a vegan lifestyle. I don't have a purpose like that yet, because I'm also still learning. But when I feel confident about it, I can get that mission on me, but not at the moment. But I'm talking that everything is going well, and I also had some blood tests and blood work done for a health check, for a health assessment, and I'm also saying that no, everything is going well with my health assessment. So I am recommending them to have a health assessment and check their blood and cholesterol levels, actually. So that's the only thing I've done so far.
And if someone came to you, like a friend or family member came to you and said, "Oh, I think I'm curious about going vegan," what would be your advice to them?
Yeah, for food choices, I would definitely suggest them to go with whole foods first, instead of going directly to the vegan-made packed foods, because however it is, it's packed food in the end, and we all know that packed food is not healthy at all. So they can start with some lentils, chickpeas, beans, especially as a source of protein, because that is the most difficult part for me, to get enough protein, because I was eating lots of meat and eggs and cheese, and that they were just adding up together and making lots of protein per day. But at the moment it's a bit difficult, so that's why I'm making my choices on protein-rich plant-based food like tofu, seitan, and the lentils, chickpeas, and beans. I would recommend that one first, to start with whole food. And whenever they feel like, why am I doing this? I would definitely recommend them to think about their purpose, why they wanted to change to a vegan lifestyle or to a vegan diet. It can be health reasons, or it can be ethical reasons, animal welfare, whatever it is. But just when they have doubts, they need to go back to the starting point and, okay, this was my point, this was my reason that I changed, so I should keep on.
Yeah, that why is very important, isn't it? To remember the original inspiration and emotional reason.
Yeah, and motivating ourselves to keep on the same route.
And now, are there any places in London where, if you are going to go out to eat, that you really enjoy? Like, do you have a favourite spot for vegan food?
Well, in London is seriously very rich in terms of that. There are lots of restaurants specifically for vegans and doing really good vegan food. And you can also, wherever you go, you can also find a vegan menu or lots of vegan options on the menus. So I can't say this place is my favorite place, but I can say that Indian food has really good vegan options, and I love that spicy Indian food. So I love that. Thai food is also a good one. And some of the Mexican food has also good beans and and cassava sort of stuff. So yeah, those are my options. And also, well, I'm originally from Turkey, and Turkish food also has really nice and rich vegan mezes. So when we meet up with friends at a Turkish restaurant, I'm definitely going with mezes, with a meze platter, with a vegan meze platter, and yeah, it's also really delicious.
Thanks for joining us on today's episode of Aberfeldy Stories. This episode was made in partnership with The People Speak, and if you'd like to know more or to join the conversation, then come find us on Aberfeldy Street or visit www.thepeoplespeak.org.uk.